Let me just say that I think this absolutely will not happen, and that I have a nice working relationship with Senator Kennedy. But in the House of Representatives, I think donkeys will fly before the Republicans in the House of Representatives vote to increase taxes on anyone, but particularly on the wealthy. Their goal.
Boom, that's not a joke. That's Florida Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz absolutely torching GOP tax hypocrisy in under 10 seconds. What you just heard was a brutal dismantling of the GOP's so-called shift in tax rhetoric, but Debbie wasn't having it, and she came with receipts. If you're tired of sugar-coated political spin, hit subscribe. We bring you the unfiltered fire every time. So what sparked this explosive clash? It all started with rumors. Whispers out of Washington that Republicans might, just might, be reconsidering their position on tax hikes for the wealthy to fund a new budget bill. Sounds like a turning point, right? Think again. CNN asked Debbie Wasserman Schultz for her reaction to this supposed change of heart from the GOP. They referenced a comment from Republican Senator John Kennedy, who hinted at a possible shift, but the moment the question dropped, Debbie didn't even blink. Her response was immediate, fiery, and filled with biting sarcasm.
Let me just say that I think this absolutely will not happen, and that I have a nice working relationship with Senator Kennedy. But in the House of Representatives, I think...
No sugarcoating, no cautious optimism, just raw political reality. Now, let's talk about the weak attempt to shift the narrative. Republicans are quietly floating the idea of using tariff revenue, which already costs average Americans an estimated $4,000 a year, to offset new tax breaks. For who? You guessed it, the wealthy. Debbie lays it out with brutal clarity. She's not speculating.
They appear to be moving in the direction of using the tariff tax money that is going to cost the average American about $4,000 a year, and use that as an offset for their tax breaks to the wealthy.
She's spelling out the bait and switch. Instead of asking the wealthy to pay more, the GOP wants to use working class pain to deliver rich rewards. That's the change of heart they're selling, a rebranding of the same old trickle-down betrayal. Let's get something straight. This isn't about policy nuance. It's about priorities and who pays the price. Debbie Wasserman Schultz pulled no punches. She went on to list a devastating series of cuts the GOP is pushing to protect their donors and billionaires.
Spending cuts that they're making in biomedical research that saves cancer patients and Head Start programs that helps 500,000 disadvantaged children be able to get a preschool education and healthcare and so many other benefits that set them on the path to a positive direction in their lives. The rural health cuts, the cuts to Medicaid that are coming, Social Security slowdown.
All of it, she says, is being sacrificed to fund tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. It's not just bad policy, it's a moral failure. And yet, she doesn't stop there. Schultz delivers a ruthless dose of truth about who benefits from these tax cuts and who doesn't.
When you give tax breaks to the middle class and working families, they put that money and that benefit back out into the economy through...
It's Economics 101. And still, the GOP pretends not to understand. She exposes the false logic in their tax agenda, rewarding hoarders while punishing spenders, helping hedge funds, not households, serving donors, not democracy. And just in case there was any lingering doubt about whether this tax change was sincere, Debbie doubles down.
Call me skeptical. And doubtful that...
No hedging, no backtracking. She sees through the GOP playbook, and she's not buying the rebrand. Just when you think it couldn't get more damning, Debbie Wasserman Schultz hits the GOP with the ultimate mic drop. Their so-called tax strategy is a thinly veiled con game. Here's the grenade she lobs right at the heart of Republican credibility.
But particularly on the wealthy. Their goal, and Donald Trump's goal, is to get more tax breaks.
She doesn't just critique their actions, she calls out their intent. This isn't mismanagement or policy confusion. It's a coordinated, deliberate strategy to serve the ultra-rich. And if that wasn't enough, she eviscerates their entire messaging operation by exposing how Republicans plan to use public money from tariffs hurting average Americans to fund private enrichment.
They appear to be moving in the direction of using the tariff tax money that is going to cost the average American about $4,000 a year, and use that as an offset for their tax breaks to the wealthy.
Their goal, that's it, game over. She makes it clear, not only is the GOP not taxing the rich, they're taxing you to give to them. And for the cherry on top, Debbie calls out the fantasy economics being peddled on the right. When the GOP hints at a rational tax policy, she slams the door shut.
And we need to shift the burden of taxes onto people who can well afford it, who frankly, when it comes to improving our economy, when you give tax tax breaks to wealthy people, they sit on it.
That's the bombshell. The system isn't broken, it's rigged on purpose. As the interview wraps up, Debbie Wasserman Schultz delivers her final blow, and it's a direct challenge to anyone still pretending the GOP has changed. When asked about why Republicans are even discussing tax hikes on the wealthy, she doesn't hesitate.
Well, I'm not sure who they is. I mean, Senator Kennedy is one senator, and I think he tends to be someone who thinks out loud, and I would.
Translation? This isn't a movement, it's one rogue voice in the Senate, and it'll be crushed the moment MAGA extremists get wind of it. She drives the nail into the coffin by painting a clear picture of what GOP unity actually looks like in 2025.
Republican extreme MAGA members closing ranks and shutting that whole notion down.
This isn't governance, it's cultish obedience. And even when she agrees on one tiny thing, the need for a rational tax code, she turns it right back around.
We need tax breaks for the wealthiest, most fortunate. We need tax breaks.
So while Republicans mouth vague promises about reform, Debbie sets the terms. You want real change. Start taxing billionaires. Start funding cancer research. Start protecting Medicaid. Until then, she's not interested in lip service. And neither should you be. No, they're not going to tax the rich. No, they're not turning over a new leaf. And yes, they are using your money to protect their billionaire donors. If you're sick of seeing the wealthy get handouts while working families get cuts, subscribe right now. We don't sugarcoat it here. We bring the raw, brutal political truth.